Welcome back to Nature News. I am Renee, and behind me, or behind the camera, is Kim. She'll be joining us in just a minute. But today we have a really cool topic for you. It's about what is a carbon footprint. We're going to name 10 things that we do to contribute to our carbon footprint, and 10 things that we can do to reduce our carbon footprint or take away from it. So I think that this is a helpful topic because sometimes a lot of things can seem overwhelming, but if you just take one of these things and change, it can have a pretty big impact. So to start off, we want to talk about what is a carbon footprint, right? So we use a lot of power, right? We use power with refrigerators, so all of electricity, anything that uses electricity, right? So you could brainstorm things that are using electricity: refrigerators, light bulbs, ACs, heaters, our cell phones when we power them up and charge them in, right? Your oven, your microwave, all of these things that we use on a day-to-day basis are using power. And those things are powered by electricity, but when we get that by burning coal, natural oil, and gas, all of the things we often refer to as fossil fuels. And when we burn these things, we release gas into the atmosphere. Now, the atmosphere is like a giant bubble surrounding the Earth. You can see it right here, a bubble around the Earth. And what the atmosphere does is it helps to protect us and to protect Earth from some of the harshest rays of the sun and the cold of space. So that's very important to us. It's a big protective bubble. But what happens is as we use energy and we release gases into the atmosphere, they go off into the atmosphere, you can see in this picture, and they create kind of like a big border. They hang out all in here. Now, normally, some of them are leaving the atmosphere, some of these gases. Some of the sun rays that come in will bounce around and come out of the atmosphere. But as our gases build up, and over the past 150 years, we're releasing more and more gases by all of the electricity, all of the power that we're using, all of the gases that we're burning. We're releasing more of these greenhouse gases. And they're getting trapped within here. And what they're doing is they're making it hard for these heated sun rays and these other rays to come out of the atmosphere. So a little bit easier of a way to think about it is think about when you take a shower and you close your bathroom door, the water creates steam within your bathroom, and the steam creates heat, right? And it's all warm inside of your bathroom. It gets trapped inside of there. Same thing is happening in here. There's kind of steam coming through here and trapping the warm air from leaving the atmosphere. So you can see it's creating like a blockade. All these gases are creating a blockade. So when it's warming our planet, it's actually changing our climate. So climate change is what's happening because of the trapped gases and the warming of the atmosphere. So right now, what we want you to start doing is we want you to start brainstorming 10 things that contribute to your carbon footprint. And maybe you can start typing some of them in, because we're going to write them down on this big notepad here and try to come up with some 10 things that contribute. So we're thinking about things that might use power, right? Things that use gas or oil or coal, some of those things. And before we talk about that, so we just want to give you a little bit of time to do that. Before we talk about that, we're going to talk a little bit about climate versus weather. So Kim's going to talk to you for a minute.
Oh no. Okay, so climate and weather can be kind of confusing, and a lot of people think that they're the same thing. But weather is actually a short-term event. So weather can happen over a day or a few hours or maybe a few weeks. It could be a really bad thunderstorm, or it could be a heat wave that lasts 3 days. But climate is actually the average of weather patterns over a long time, over 30 years or more. And we can think about, so when you think about you can think about weather patterns that happen over several years. So like right now in April, it's windy and it's kind of rainy usually. In the summertime in August, it's usually hot and dry. Or in February, it's snowy and cold. So that is climate. And climate is kind of like nature's clock. And people, animals, and even plants rely on this clock. So imagine if somebody was to come into your house and reset your alarm clock. And then you get all messed up and you wind up at school in the middle of the night. Now, it would be pretty different. All the lights would be off. It might be too cold, or it might be really hot. There wouldn't be any food in your cafeteria. So it wouldn't be right, would it? It would be confusing to you. So this is basically what climate change is doing to our environment. So it will make it harder for farmers to grow crops. It makes it harder for animals to forage for food. It can change our weather patterns, cause flooding or wildfires, and it can even result in really strong storms like some of the hurricanes we've seen recently. So climate change is a big deal. So I hope, have we had any contributions for our carbon footprint?
No, not yet. I think we'll bring this over to you, Kim, so you can read some different things.
Thank you.
Okay, so we want to write some things that contribute to our carbon footprint. So Kim's going to check some out to see if we have any submissions. But if we don't worry, we've got 10 for you.
So let's see. We don't have any yet. But like Renee was talking about, things that contribute, things that use energy, those are some of the easiest things that we can think of that contribute to our carbon footprint. So let's see. Renee, do you have any in mind? I can think of a few things that are going on in this room that are contributing to our carbon footprint right now.
Oh, definitely.
So
one of the ones that I think about, Kim, a lot is when I am brushing my teeth in the morning. I try to turn off the water when I'm brushing my teeth because that can waste a lot of water. So, right, water wasting. A lot of people don't realize when they turn on their sink that they're using energy too. So not just the water that you're getting, you're using a lot of a natural resource, but you're also using electricity to power that, right? So water wasting, I think, is a big one, right?
I think that's a great one.
Wasting water.
Oh, I have one. Stacy said recycling. Recycling, it does use energy, but overall, I think it does help your carbon footprint a little bit, because if we recycle things that are already produced, then it's less energy to produce new items that are plastic or glass. So it's kind of a little bit of both, but ultimately it does help a little bit. I think.
Not using recyclable materials, right, would contribute to your carbon footprint. Not using recyclable, I have to be able to spell to do this.
Yes.
Materials.
Exactly.
Right? So using things that are throwaway things, right? Not a good thing, right?
Great, we have another one. So leaving the lights on.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So definitely leaving the lights on or forgetting to turn the lights off when you leave a room is definitely a waste of energy. And another thing that actually would contribute to energy waste, this could be another one, is using inefficient light bulbs or inefficient appliances. Because actually 80 to 90% of the energy that traditional light bulbs put off is released as heat. And if you buy LED light bulbs, so they're a little bit more expensive initially, but they can last up to 25 times longer, and they use only about a quarter of the energy that traditional light bulbs use. So simple things like that. I think that's fine. I don't think anybody can read it from over there. So, all right, so we have 4 right now. Let's see, any more? Well, I think of something that I did today to get here that's contributing to my carbon footprint, and that is driving in my car. So the longer your commute is, that does make your carbon footprint a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and even flying in a plane, right? Flying in a plane can contribute to your carbon footprint. Those big, massive planes and jets use a whole lot of fuel.
Yeah.
So flying in a plane.
Oh, we have another one. Okay. So, oops. Oh, Maricela says consuming too much. And And that's definitely a big one. So I think a lot of the time when we go food shopping, I know I do this sometimes too, I simply buy too much that like my family can't eat all the produce that I've purchased, and I end up not being able to use all of it and wasting some of it.
Absolutely. So one of the things is there's actually a really cool book, and I'll bring it out later. It's called Project Drawdown. Project Drawdown is a book that these scientists, they've gotten scientists all over the world to come together and create a book about the top 100 things that we can do, changes we can make. They mapped these changes up to 2050, and they calculated exactly how much carbon emissions that we could reduce by changing some of our lifestyles. And number 3 on the list, which is a huge, like right up there on the top 3, is actually eliminating or reducing your food waste. So that's a huge one because every individual can do that, right? Not just major corporations and companies.
Yeah.
Everyone can do that. So that's really cool because a lot of food is wasted. So much food is wasted. In high-income areas, over 35% of food is wasted just by consumers. We throw it out. We don't eat it. So that's a big change, number 3.
We have another suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh, this is for the next one. That we're gonna,
okay.
Things that are gonna reduce.
So one of the things that kind of goes along with food, number 4 on Project Drawdown's list of things that we can change to have a major impact. So top 5 still. Number 4 is actually reducing your meat consumption. Now, both
Wow.
Kim and myself, we're not vegetarians, but we do try to do something called being a valutarian. And what we try to do is we try to limit our meat consumption.
Mhm.
So you can start this off by maybe just doing a meatless Monday. And that reduces a lot of emissions because farming for dairy and meat is really big in the CO2 production. Which CO2 is that gas that's trapping all the heat in our environment. So that's a really easy way. Just do a 1 day a week meatless Monday you can start with. It's a really easy way, right? You don't have to change your entire lifestyle. That's a simple one. So eating too much meat.
Definitely. All right, we need 2 more. Let's see if we have any more in here. I don't think we have any more recommendations.
All right.
In here. Well, there's another one. Actually, when you do go to the grocery store and oh wait, what am I looking for? I think that's on the other
Bulky
one.
packaging, maybe?
Yes, that's it. Bulky packaging. So if you ever order something from Amazon, I know this has happened to me, and it makes me crazy. And you open a box, and what do you find inside of it but another box? So things with bulky or excessive packaging, they really do increase your carbon footprint. And that's not always something that we can control, but there are some companies that really strive to use renewable or recyclable materials in their packaging. And that is really, really a wonderful thing. So bulky packaging, definitely.
And then I think the last one, or there's an endless list of these things too, but is not buying local, right? Because when food is coming from a really far distance, it has to travel too, right? So you're using fuel to get it here. Same thing with anything, right? Not just food, but anything that you're purchasing. If it's coming from far away, it's using a lot of energy to get here. So buying local can help us, right? Maybe keep that in mind for our next list, right? So not buying local.
All right. So we've got 10 things that contribute to our carbon footprint. But now we'll ask you guys, what can we do to reduce our carbon footprint? So we can actually take a lot of things from on here and get ideas for how we can reduce. So let's see. Renee's just going to come and hold this up to you.
All right, so we can post these. Maybe I'll have to correct my spelling on some of them. But we can post these pictures of things they came together with to know what we can do, right? Because knowing what we maybe shouldn't be doing or can limit will really help us to know how we can change.
Absolutely.
All right, are we ready for our next list? Things we can do to help.
Okay.
is over here.
Do you want to be the holder of the?
Yeah.
Oh, I might need the pen.
Oh, there's green.
Oh, there is.
There.
Oh, awesome.
We'll do
Thank
green
you.
for go.
Okay. So, 10 things that reduce our carbon footprint. We got any suggestions so far? I have one, and this is actually something that I like to do very much. So
I got some.
Oh yes, yeah.
No, you can say yours first, though, Kim. I'm sorry.
So I think a lot of people, I mean, we like to go shopping. People like to get new clothes, nice things to wear, but something that I love to do is to shop vintage. And that actually really, really reduces your carbon footprint because the clothing and fashion industry is one of the top polluters. So also, there are a lot of different clothing brands that are mindful and do try to, reduce their packaging and reduce their carbon footprints. So keep an eye out for them too, because there are quite a few. So shopping vintage or shopping at thrift stores. So we can put that down.
There's an app that I like to use. It's called Good on You, and there's probably lots of different apps like this, but Good on You, you can Google your clothing companies, and it will tell you what their kind of carbon footprint is, if they try to be eco, if they're not eco at all. So that's kind of cool. There's resources for that. So some of the other ones we have are recycling rainwater.
Oh, that's amazing. That is great.
Great way, absolutely.
And that's actually even better too, because a lot of people sometimes make rain gardens in their yards. You could make a rain garden for your vegetable garden, and then you're really, really minimizing your carbon footprint because you're growing a lot of your own food.
Yeah. So we've got some comments from family, and one of the comments from my husband actually is to unplug unused electronics. And I think he wrote this one down because he thought I was crazy when I was unplugging the coffee pot every time I wasn't using it. But what's happening is those things are still using and siphoning electricity, especially if it has a clock or something on it, right? It's still using electricity, even though it may not be fully running and you're not using it at the same time. So
that's a great one.
Unplugging appliances, even if they're not in use. And an easier way to do this is put it on a power strip. You can just turn off your power strip at a time instead of unplugging each individual appliance, right? So that could be a handy way to do that.
Idea.
Let's see. Meatless Mondays or Tofu Tuesdays.
Ooh,
that's a good one. Right, so buying local, supporting your local farmers too, right? Absolutely. So buying local is great because you're also supporting your neighborhood and your neighbors, right? By buying from them. Sustainable products.
Oh,
absolutely.
Most definitely.
Yeah, eco-friendly products, sustainable products. And those are usually made with better materials too. So you're doing so much for your environment if you're not using all of those harmful chemicals. Absolutely.
All right, we've got 5.
Ooh, I got some other good ones.
Yes.
So using metal straws.
Perfect.
Paper bags. Caitlin, good ideas. Very good. Taking shorter showers, she says, too.
Wow.
So many good
shorter
ideas.
showers. And that's something else we can say, too. Shorter straws, shorter showers. So using definitely reusable products every time is going to reduce your carbon footprint. So when I think about, I have a travel mug that I use for my coffee every time that I go to work. So if I go to work 5 days out of 7, let's say I'm working, how many would that be for 52 weeks? 260 days or something like that out of the year.
Asking me to do math in
something
my
like
head.
that. So let's say I use my travel mug. I use it almost 300 times a year. That's 300 disposable coffee cups that I did not use. So I know sometimes people even use those disposable ones at home, or they use them when you go out to get a cup of coffee. So really bringing your own mug and using those reusable items makes a big difference over time, for sure.
Well, we've got some more. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are also looking at the other comments because we may only write down 10, but there's an incredible list going on right here. So, growing your own vegetables and starting a garden.
That's amazing.
That's
I love that.
a great way, right? Absolutely. Maybe you can use your rainwater that you've recycled to do that, right? And then I have another one for you, Kim. Composting.
Oh, wonderful.
Composting and recycling materials, other materials, right? We've talked a little bit about recycling. We're going to have another really cool program coming up about recycling.
My handwriting is worse than usual, so please forgive me.
Ooh, this one's a great one. Make a menu for the week so you only have to go to the grocery store once. So that kind of goes along with maybe driving a car less.
Yeah.
Right?
Plan your shopping and drive less.
Yeah, so, and then if you do have to go, now it's a hard time to do this, but you can carpool places, or maybe the shop is close enough for you to ride your bike, right? Or walk or scooter too.
That's true, because even a 2-mile car ride, just a 2-mile car ride contributes 2 pounds to your carbon footprint. So every mile really does count.
Yeah.
And it's good for you too to get outside and ride your bike.
You guys have so many,
That's amazing.
So many wonderful ideas. This list could just keep going.
It could keep going, and I love that.
Me too. So we can post some of these things, but take a look at the comments. Read the comments, because there's just so many different ideas here.
I'm going to show you all our work here. So I'm sorry, my wrist is a little bit injured, so my handwriting is not the best. Thank you guys so much for participating with these amazing ideas.
So you can see some of these things are really simple to do, right? Not too challenging to do. So small little lifestyle changes. And then for all of you kids out there, a lot of things you can do with your parents or even on your own.
Absolutely.
But NASA has a really cool website that actually lets you look at green careers. And there's so many different things you can do out there. There's so much new technology that you can figure out. Some of the green careers involve finding alternative energy, like wind turbines, right? Finding alternative energy elsewhere as well. Some of it is designing satellites for NASA, so big and small jobs, all green careers. So take a look at that. Think about something like that. And you can even make your own green career, because there's so much more stuff out there that we can do. Take a look at the book called Project Drawdown, Top 100 Things That We Can Change by 2050 to make a huge impact on our carbon footprint. And then keep watching videos like this, because we're going to keep talking a little bit more in detail about some of these things throughout our nature series, and also all week this week for Earth Week. This is the time to celebrate, right?
Yes.
Every day is Earth Day. That's what we've been saying all week long. By the end of this, you'll never be able to get it out of your mind. Every day is Earth Day, right? Do we have any questions maybe about anything before we go?
And then one more thing. Tomorrow, Cara Fernandez, our other environmental educator, will be back with us. And we're going to be doing a really fun segment all about different nature science experiments, so STEM experiments, and we're really looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope that you will join us, and then you can do the experiments on your own after you learn how. So, any questions?
I don't think so.
Thank you guys so much for participating and joining all of our Earth Day programming. We'll be posting some more stuff for you guys later, and tomorrow and Saturday. So yeah, thank you so very much. And
wait, we have one question.
Yes.
And I think this is a great question.
Okay.
Do flowers count for growing things?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Planting trees can actually take a lot of the carbon dioxide out of the environment. So planting trees, planting flowers and other plants, those things are using carbon dioxide. So that's perfect. Good job. Sorry, I did want to answer that one because I thought that was a great one, especially because deforestation is a big thing right now. We're clear cutting a lot of areas for homes, for shopping malls, right? So planting trees, planting flowers, great impact. All right. Thank you, everybody. Anything else, Kim, you think?
I think that's it.
All right. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining us today. And stay tuned for our bonus nature news tomorrow. Thank you.